Hey there, happy holidays and welcome to Merry Gear Solid 2, The Ghosts of Christmas Past. My name is Pete, and today we complete this sequel to Merry Gear Solid Secret Santa, a game we played last year around this time. Just like the first one, Merry Gear Solid 2 is a fan-made, Christmas-themed humorous nod to the Metal Gear Solid series, written and developed by Arthur Lee. While it is a direct sequel to the first installment we played last year, and which I invite you to watch of course, Merry Gear Solid 2 can very much be enjoyed with no prior knowledge. I would argue that most of the references we'll encounter, and there are a lot, will in fact be towards the Metal Gear Solid series, and not so much related to the first game. Now, as always, in true completionist fashion, we're going to play through the entire game in what I consider to be the optimal way, a slightly more time-consuming effort since this game is several orders of magnitude longer than Secret Santa was. In my opinion, it is also a tad bit more difficult. Some sections can actually be somewhat tricky. I'll do my best to explain the ideal approach whenever the game lets me get a few lines in. The voice acting has been adequately scaled up to match the larger scope of this adventure. Just like last year, I'm also challenging myself to play non-lethally, or rather in a pacifist manner, by avoiding that any harm, even temporary, comes to our involuntary opponents, which at times will make things quite a bit more difficult. Finally then, you are of course also very much invited to point out any nods and references that you spot down below in the comments. I'm sure there will be a few that will go over my head. And that is all, so without any further ado, let's complete Merry Gear Solid 2, The Ghosts of Christmas Past.
Outer Savin, 3 years after the Secret Santa incident. We had classified information that a new Santa had taken power. The whole thing was naughty, but our noses had been out in the cold too long. This is Snake. Do you read me, Otacon?
Loud and clear, Snake.
Looks like the stocking is busted.
What stocking?
The stocking you had me wear. You said it was made with synthetic octopus fibers that would make me nearly invisible to the human eye.
You didn't really. Snake, that was just an ordinary...
Right. I didn't plan on relying on this gadget anyway.
Well, I'm just happy you managed to get to the sneak point without getting yourself hurt.
I'm happy as long as no one gives me any more unwanted gifts.
Oh, you mean that thing with Naomi?
No, I'm talking about Cole. How am I supposed to have a Merry Christmas if that's all I get these days?
Well, Snake, it's been a while since anyone's had a truly Merry Christmas. What with the sudden surge of PNCs popping up around the world.
PNCs?
Pretty naughty children. Naughty doesn't even begin to describe them. They're more like hired mercenaries selling their services to the highest bidder. It used to be just a few rogue groups, but now it's become a global phenomenon. In fact, the world's seen the creation of at least a dozen PNCs in the past 3 years alone.
So it all started 3 years ago. That's about the time I assassinated Saint Nick.
That's right. It's likely that Saint Nick's death lies at the root of all of these problems. After all, he did play an important role in the SOC system.
SOC system?
The Spirit of Christmas system. A series of checks and balances created by the three wise men in order to maintain an equal balance of naughty and nice.
And without a Saint Nick to keep the SOC system in check, there hasn't been an incentive to be nice.
That's right, Snake. We've dropped you off at Outer Savin Mall.
Outer Savin?
Yeah, you know, the one mall in which shoppers will always have a place.
Let me guess. I'm not just here to do some last-minute Christmas shopping.
Afraid not, Snake. I recently dug up some information on the US government's encrypted security channel about an extremist group that calls themselves the Ghosts of Christmas Past. The information I've uncovered shows that they've got their hands on Santa's hat.
What's so dangerous about a hat?
It's not so much the hat itself as it is the beliefs behind it. Whoever controls Santa's hat has full control over the SOC system, and whoever controls the SOC system has full control over the entire child population of the world.
So what?
The ghosts have threatened to use the hat to create a world of PNCs.
A world of perpetual naughtiness!
That's right. The ghosts are demanding the brain of Saint Nick, but it's anyone's guess as to what they're gonna do with it. It's gotta be something big, something worth using the entire world's child population as a bargaining chip for. Something like...
Metal Gear.
No, Snake. There's absolutely no reason to jump to conclusions. All we know is that the ghosts have arranged a meeting with the US president somewhere in that mall. Your mission is to find out what's going on, and to put a stop to the ghosts' plan before the meeting takes place.
Gotcha.
For the duration of this mission, we'll be referring to each other by code names.
What's wrong with my old code name?
What, Old Snake?
No, Solid Snake.
No one's called you that in years.
Yeah, but...
Look, I'll let you decide for yourself. Would you rather be called Old Snake or Cold Snake?
Cold Snake, I guess.
Good. Remember, Snake, the ghosts have Santa's hat, which means that any children you run into during the mission are under their control. Do whatever it takes to stay out of the enemy's field of vision.
Got it.
Head to the elevator. I'll be giving you advice and instructions via codec. My frequency is 012.25. Good luck.
Right, I suppose it just wouldn't be a fully authentic experience without at least 5 minutes of exposition. Either way, 3 years after the events of the last game, we take over as Snake once more. Our task here today is to infiltrate the mall and to stop an extremist group that calls themselves the Ghosts of Christmas Past. Apparently, the group has gained control over Santa's hat, and with that, control over the world's entire child population. So, just like in the last game, those children will be what we're trying to avoid for the majority of the game. If they spot us, it's an immediate game over, and over the course of this adventure we'll find many ways to prevent that from happening. And that's all for the moment. I think it's high time that we get moving, although of course it won't take long until we once again receive further instructions.
Hold it, Snake. It's foolish to run headfirst into every situation. By holding the shift key near a wall, you can hug up against it. Doing so will allow you to get a better view of what's up ahead.
Can I hold the shift key near a kid?
No, Snake. Stranger danger.
So, this here is what hugging a wall looks like. It slightly extends Snake's sight radius. Very useful, considering that these children can once again spot us from very far away. Although, as you can see, the first two here can be snuck around rather easily.
You can always access me via codec by pressing the C button. If you find yourself in a difficult situation, just give me a call.
That's right, as we slide across the ice here with no way of stopping except for any barricades or white patches of snow, we could in theory now also call Otacon ourselves to get information if we're stuck. For the moment though, I believe there's really no need for any additional conversations with the guy.
That kid ahead is guarding that landing pad pretty carefully. You should try distracting him by knocking on a nearby wall. To do that, hug a wall with the shift key, and then press the control key to make a noise. Any nearby guards will come investigate the source of the noise. You can use this to open up a sneaking path.
So I press control while hugging a wall and knock on it. Got it. Say, Otacon.
Yeah?
Knock knock.
Oh, what was that noise?
You're supposed to say who's there.
Just my imagination.
Right, this mechanic too should be familiar from the first game. Hugging walls and knocking on them will attract the attention of nearby children. We only need to make sure that we're no longer standing at the source of the noise once they come to investigate. In this case, the distraction allows us to safely pass the helipad and to enter the elevator on the roof of the mall. So, while last year in the first game we worked our way from the bottom to the top of the building, this year we start at the top and work our way down.
Found the intruder.
I forgot to tell you about the Jolaton radar. The Jolaton radar is the thing in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. It's based on the same Joliton technology that allows shoppers to easily find the exact locations of the presents they're looking for. But don't be fooled. There's a big difference between the existing Joliton technology and the special Jolaton radar you're equipped with.
What's the difference?
Well, the subtle swapping of the Y in Joliton to an I in your Joliton radar trickles down to its functionality. Whereas the Joliton radar could only detect Christmas presents, the Joliton radar is capable of detecting presents of any kind.
Including human presents.
Bingo!
I'm guessing that white dot is me.
That's right.
What about the red ones?
Those dots represent an enemy's presence. Watch out and stay outside of that enemy's field of vision.
That's the blue cone, right?
Yep. Also, you might have noticed the radar was unusable on the rooftop. Sometimes there's too much interference. In those cases, the Jolaton radar will be jammed.
Anything I can do about that?
Afraid not.
So you're saying this is a Jolaton radar that you made modifications to?
Yep, a specially modified Joliton radar. I would have called it the Autoton radar, but...
You sure this isn't just my old Soliton radar? Because Mei-Ling made that.
No, not at all. Look, Snake, we don't have time for idle chit-chat.
So, in the top right corner we now have a mini-map. It also shows us where the enemies are looking, which makes it a little bit easier to pass groups like this one here, where we only have a tiny gap that is outside of the enemy's field of view. The next child standing around the corner here is then easily passed if we just wait for it to turn around, but we immediately encounter the next obstacle.
A surveillance camera?
It's a mall, Snake.
Oh, right.
Remember, these security cameras have a blind spot, so you can sneak beneath them without being seen.
Right, nothing too difficult here, we can just hug the wall to make sure we're not being seen, and as soon as the camera points the other way, we can go through the door.
Hold up, Snake. Someone's conversation is being carried through the ventilation shafts.
Have all the preparations been made?
Yes, and the tadpoles have set up an ambush on the first floor. In case the meeting with the president goes sour.
First floor.
And where is
He.
our third?
What? Are you afraid he'll flake?
I don't really trust him, but I've got no choice but to believe him, for now.
Without belief, you'd never be able to inherit the title of Father Christmas.
I suppose you're right.
I'll be heading up to the 20th floor. I just need a little time to cool off. You stay here and wait for the president to arrive.
You hear that, Snake? The ghosts are meeting with the president on the first floor of the mall. You'll have to get down there to make sure things don't get hairy.
Right, so not only do we have the president about to enter the building, it also looks like somebody is coming up to the 20th floor, the floor that we are currently on.
Huh, looks like the elevator's down. You'll have to get around the mall by foot.
Right, so with the elevator out of action, we sneak through the children here, and instead of going left, we head back up. Up ahead is the men's bathroom. It is entirely optional to go in here, but we can trigger a unique bit of dialogue if we approach the toilet on the right here.
This is Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
Excellent, Snake. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
In fact, it's kept me pretty regular.
Oh, Snake, you're disgusting.
Now at this point, we want to make sure that we do not get caught by the kid on the left here, the only one who's regularly moving, but once all three of them have their backs turned to us, we can make our exit. Our way onwards is then down and to the left here. Once more though, we don't make it far before we're interrupted.
It looks like you're in some kind of Halloween costume store. Maybe you can find something useful in that store's storage room. That's located in the northeast corner of the store.
Right, so this time the instructions are straightforward, and if we time it just right and are quick about it, the storage room is swiftly and easily reached.
Lucky for you that guard's asleep. Otherwise, he'd definitely come investigate the commotion. You can get past metal floors without making much noise if you slide along the walls beside them.
Now, for the moment, the kid is sleeping though, so there is no need to avoid making noise. That will change in just a few seconds though.
Otacon, I found a reindeer mask.
Snake, is there something you have, to tell me?
Aren't you usually the one to tell me how new items work?
Well, it's just, I want you to know that furdom has been around for a long time, and...
Furdom?
Yeah, you know, furries. It's a fandom that revolves around anthropomorphic animals.
Anime. It's always anime with you, isn't it, Otacon? I'm a mercenary. I don't have time for any nerd hobbies. Now tell me how I can use this thing.
Well, for a start, it's frighteningly realistic. Has it got a red light-up nose?
Nope.
Darn. So it's no good as a flashlight either.
Let me put this thing on. Maybe it'll give me some ideas.
Sure thing, Snake? Snake? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. I could have sworn you were a mounted deer head.
A mounted deer head, huh?
You'll be able to avoid being seen as long as you're hugging a wall with that thing on. Just make sure not to move, or you'll give yourself away. Also, if you bump into anyone, the jig is up. So stay out of the enemy's path.
Huh?
What was that?
That sleeping guard must have woken up. Snake, you're surrounded. Use the deer head to sneak your way out of there.
Right, we have picked up our first gadget, the deer mask. If we now bring up our inventory, we can select and equip it, and if we wear it while standing still and hugging a wall, it will make us invisible. Case in point, alerted by our footsteps on the metal floor, the kid comes over to investigate, but standing still we are not spotted, and we have enough of a head start now to rush out of here loudly, and we reach the exit into the previous room without getting caught. Our next destination is then the westernmost exit of this room. Once more, the deer mask comes in handy as we shimmy across the shelves here. The minimap, however, is equally important, I would say, as it tells us precisely when it's safe to move. Same procedure then in the next area. We are still on the 20th floor. I actually found these stealth sections much easier when looking purely at the minimap. This one here is quickly solved with just a bit of patience. The metal tiles here do not need to concern us, as we're already at the exit before anyone notices the noise.
These guards won't budge. You'll have to find another way.
Right, and conveniently there is a path to the left here. However, we soon find that blocked too.
Don't take another step. That place is filled with gas. Also, the floor's electrified.
Who are you?
Just a voice in your head. But you can call me Cindy Lou Who. Or Who, for short.
Cindy? A girl?
Do I sound like a girl to you?
It's hard to trust a voice over codec. I've already been fooled once by my twin brother.
You'll need to find a way to disable the high voltage switch.
You're using burst transmission. Are you nearby?
As for the gas, you don't want to be breathing any of that stuff. It'll knock you out cold.
Wait, why is there a room filled with gas and electrical flooring inside a mall?
To keep out intruders like you and I.
That makes sense. Who are you anyway?
An old friend.
Otacon, I need you to run a trace on the frequency of my last codec conversation.
What codec conversation?
That's right, he was using burst transmission.
Burst transmission? There's no way to find the codec frequency of a conversation like that. Except...
Except what?
Well, have you tried looking on the back of the Blu-ray case? I know, it's a pain, but you need to find the Blu-ray case for Metal Gear Solid 2. You see the Blu-ray case labeled Metal Gear Solid 2?
No.
Huh? Oh, wait. We're on the PC, and the game is downloaded onto your hard drive. There is no Blu-ray Metal Gear Solid 2 case.
Otacon, get a grip!
What an age we live in, huh, Snake? Digital distribution. Wonder what they'll think of next.
So no?
No what?
You can't run a trace on my last codec conversation?
Afraid not.
Right, so let's go back then, and we're not done talking just yet.
I've hacked the mall's central computer and activated the Muzak in the previous area. It should have woken up those sleeping guards.
So there we are. As you can see, 2 of the 3 sleeping kids have moved, and with the right timing we can also swiftly sneak by the kid on the right here.
Snake. That present looks pretty well guarded. Maybe you should come back for it later.
Right, and that is in fact very good advice. Let us therefore proceed towards the southeastern exit. There is a camera in the upper left corner of this room that we want to sneak by. Afterwards then there comes a small frozen section, and then we have 2 more guards that are both easily passed, as their patrol routes take them in opposite directions, allowing Snake to squeeze through between them. At this point then we have a choice of directions, left or right. The map marks our target in the upper right corner, the ladies' bathroom, so right is the direction we want to go in first. Sneaking around the kid here is also very easy if we just avoid the metal tiles on the floor. The patrol route here is vaguely S-shaped. With a bit of patience, the movements are easy to anticipate. And with that, we are home free. Into the ladies' bathroom we go, where we find a lone child in front of the entrance talking to themselves.
You've been in there long enough. Maybe he didn't hear me. Guess I'll have to go in there and wake him up. But what if I get cooties? Cooties ain't even real. It's no good. I can't do it.
Well, but we can. This here our cue to quickly run past to find another present near the sleeping kid here.
Otacon, what the hell am I supposed to do with a candy cane?
That's no ordinary candy cane. Read the wrapper.
Novocaine?
That's right. That's a Nova brand candy cane. It's made with an especially strong child-quieting corn syrup. Or CQC.
CQC?
CQC is an anesthetic capable of putting a child to sleep. Ever notice how doctors will give a kid a lollipop after a shot?
Sure.
Those lollipops are laced with a small dose of CQC. They're used to numb the pain, and to keep the kids quiet. The dosage of CQC in that Novocaine is much, much higher.
So you're telling me I could put a kid to sleep with this thing?
That's right. Sneak up right behind an enemy and press the control key to knock him out. The anesthetic will wear off after a couple of seconds, so be sure to be out of the area before the kid wakes up.
Got it.
One last thing.
What is it?
Candy canes go in the mouth, not through the windpipe. You got that?
So, with that we have just acquired our first weapon, the Novocaine, allowing us to knock out children from close range for a brief moment of time. In line with the pacifist rules for this playthrough though, I do not plan on using it. Quick Easter egg then, the quote-unquote toxic gas emitted by the bathroom stall on the left here. You may have actually noticed the bar in the top left corner of the screen shrinking. This bar represents both health and breath, as we will soon discover. Needless to say, once it reaches 0, Snake will die and will be met with a game over, so best we not linger in front of that bathroom stall for too long. Now, the kid at the entrance here is back to the same routine as before. It is probably possible to just sneak by in those brief moments when they're not looking. However, I found that just waiting it out is the much safer approach. Eventually, at the end of the routine, the kid's back will be turned to us for a prolonged period of time, at which point we can safely run through without anybody noticing. Now, back in the previous area, we now need to retrace our steps for a bit. Our next destination is the exit to the far left of the map. As you can see, the first guard here is quickly circumvented, and as we then embark on the path to the left of the entrance, things get a bit tricky. We have metal tiles blocking our path to the left, a camera to the right, and a kid patiently watching the hallway straight ahead. That kid can be distracted with a knock on the wall though. If we quickly change positions, we can then also get behind him, and now we only need to wait for the camera to turn around and can run through. Shimmying along the wall avoids making noise on the metal tiles over here, and just like that we have reached the exit. We now find ourselves in the hallway to the freezer, curious white smears on the ground.
White blood. The last time I saw that was...
Yep, police knots.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Right, so the exact nature of this white blood on the ground remains a mystery, but not for long.
Phrase! I wasn't talking about the weather, old man.
Who are you?
As spring gives way to winter, so too shall the past give way to the present. It is a present filled with ice. For revenge is a glass best served cold.
Milk?
That's right, Snake. I am the ghost of Christmas present, and delivering milk is my fortified forte. Ah, such cold taste, such smooth texture. These are the short-lived features of milk of the freshest quality. Milk bomb! Yet so short-lived was my delivery. The temporary joy my milk provided could never compare to the permanence, the everlasting cheer of a Christmas gift well received. My gifts could only be appreciated in the present.
Milk would have to be consumed by its best buy date.
My gift was a ticking time bomb, innocuous at one moment, yet devastating the next. For many years, I've faced intolerance, but I've got no time to dwell in the past. Snake, today is your best buy date, and let me make it milky clear that you shall be bested by this battle's end!
Right, and with that we have made it to our very first boss fight. The Ghost of Christmas Present is peppering us with milk, and we need to find a way to defeat him.
Otacon. He's wearing a fox stealth suit.
You're right. And it looks like it's been specially modified to keep his body cool. I wonder why that is.
Now, at this point we should probably see about finding a way to defeat our enemy. That will prove to be a bit more difficult than you might at first expect. As you can see, the Novocaine has absolutely no effect, and neither has the Deer Mask. While we can use it to stealth along the wall here, that will not stop any milk from being thrown, and it also does not prevent Snake from getting hit. On the plus side, apart from knocking him down, none of these hits actually seem to harm him. Then again, we're also not going to win this fight just by sheer endurance.
Otacon, the enemy. His blood is white. The last time I've seen that was...
That's not white blood, Snake. That's milk.
Milk?
You'd better be careful, Snake. An enemy that bleeds out milk is sure to have extremely strong bones. Your weapons will be ineffective here.
Well, unfortunately, that is a fact we already figured out ourselves. At the moment, it seems like we're stuck here. Both the exit and the entrance to this area are blocked, so it really looks like there is no escape. This entire fight is of course a reference to the infamous boss battle with Psycho Mantis, a fight that is only winnable by switching controller ports, and, well, an equally convoluted solution will be required for this fight. I don't want to spoil it just yet though. The conversations with Otacon along the way are just too good to pass up on.
Snake, think! The ghost is made of milk. Milk's gotta have a weakness.
Lactose intolerance.
No, Snake. Try to think lactose intolerance in reverse. How did you?
Now, let's see if we can perhaps narrow down the solution together. You may have noticed that in the initial conversation there were a lot of references to the short-lived joy of milk, the fact that this pleasure is only temporary and so on. All in all, a lot of references were made to time, and that's something we should keep in mind here.
Look, Snake, we've gotta hurry before the situation gets real sour.
Milk turning sour is then of course also something that happens once it passes its expiration date, so if we can maybe advance time somehow...
I've got it! I know how to defeat him! But are you sure you want me to, spoil it? Try setting the clock on your computer ahead a week or two.
Yes, indeed, the solution to this wasn't really in the game at all. Only with the date set 7 days ahead are we able to win.
Now that's what I call a blood-curdling scream. Not even the refrigeration of your cooling suit could have kept the milk in your veins fresh for that long.
I see your mental skills haven't thawed a bit, Snake. Just like cold times.
Do I know you?
Snake, we're not snow different, you and I. The children of a cold generation.
What do you mean? Who are you?
My father. My father was one of the 3 wise men who created the SOC system. He was well on his way to inherit the title of Father Christmas, when in a freak accident at San Geronimo, his body literally burned itself up.
That special blue fox sneaking suit. You must be Python's kid.
Please, Snake. Father had a name. Python was just a code name given to him by Fox. Those who truly loved him knew him by his birth name, Frosty Frost.
Frosty the Snowman. And that would make you
Jack Frost, his son. This suit, it was the only thing they could recover off of my father's melted remains.
a cooling suit filled with liquid nitrogen. That explains the sub-zero temperatures of your milk bombs.
It was my father's legacy, and that which allowed me to become the world's greatest milkman, delivering the coldest, freshest milk in even the hottest of temperatures. However, not even the liquid nitrogen from my suit could have saved my milk from the blistering stupidity of human ignorance.
Human ignorance?
Leave it by the door, they'd say. As if such a thing were even conceivable. My milk, that which I have literally poured my life into, to sit out in the sun, beads of sweat forming on its glassy container, curdling ever closer to its date of expiration. My gift to the world was a gift of the present, a transient gift that could neither be enjoyed in the past nor the future. I longed to find a way to do it faster, to deliver it fresher. I needed a way to deliver my milk directly into any house from anywhere in the world. I needed Merry Gear.
Merry Gear?
Yes, Merry Gear. A bipedal sleigh with the ability to launch gifts from any location. It was the three wise men's failsafe, a means to keep Christmas alive should all three of the wise men pass on. But it could only be activated with the entry of 3 secret passcodes, one from each of the 3 wise men. You see, the members of the 3 wise men were part of an agreement, a pact that bound each of them to enter their secret passcodes on their deathbeds. It was a way of ensuring Christmas would go on, a pact that would ensure the activation of the Merry Gear at the right time. My father, Frosty, upheld his part of the agreement and entrusted his passcode to me. Between the 3 ghosts of Christmas past, we had 2 passwords. We needed just one more.
So that's why the ghosts are demanding Nick's brain.
Yes, your unexpected assassination of Saint Nick in the Secret Santa incident prevented Santa from entering the 3rd and final passcode. We had planned to obtain Saint Nick's brain and extract the final passcode, giving us access to the Merry Gear.
But how would this help you deliver your milk?
Snake, you aren't thinking outside of the box. Or rather, perhaps that is exactly what you are doing. What do you mean? Think, Snake. If the Merry Gear is only capable of launching gift boxes.
Put the milk in a gift box.
Yes, The greatest gift of all! Snake, it was only my dream to make the world a happier place through milk.
It seems that your dreams have expired.
And I, along with them. But don't cry. I'll be back again someday.
I guess there's no use crying over spilled milk.
Alright, and there we are. The first boss has been defeated, but this is only the beginning. The first game that we played last year would already be over at this point. This one, meanwhile, has plenty more left to offer.
That's one down, Snake. Just 2 more to go. If I remember correctly, one of the ghosts is on the first floor. Continue making your way down there.
And conveniently, right around the corner here, we find some stairs that will take us from the 20th down to the 19th floor. Unfortunately, there are 2 kids blocking the path, and while the Novocaine would be a quick and easy way to deal with them, I said at the beginning of this video that we are going to play this non-lethally, so we are going to knock on the wall here to lure them up the stairs, and then hiding around the pillar we'll have to knock once more to get them out of position entirely, at which point we can then run down the stairs, through the hallway and into the next area. We arrive in the mall's outer wing. Unfortunately, all shops in here are closed, so we head straight for the exit. While this next area then contains 2 enemies, passing them by is rather trivial. They have a patrol route, but as you can see they stay in position for an extremely long amount of time, so it's really no challenge to pass them by and to enter Galloway Gardens.
Just up ahead is Galloway Gardens, one of Outer Savin's most popular non-shopping attractions. It's a large thermoplastic structure that emulates a natural biome, inspired by the Eden Project in the UK. But architecturally, it's slightly less ugly. It perfectly replicates a subtropical coniferous forest biome, which allows them to grow Christmas trees right inside the mall, significantly cutting the carbon footprint involved in transportation.
Right, so this area comes with a grand total of 4 enemies, 2 of which are patrolling, as well as a security camera. The first 2 kids here are the ones that are patrolling, and while you can probably knock on the wall to get them out of position, I found it to be much easier to just wait for the patrol to give us a window to pass through, which now already brings us over to child number 3, and for this one we need to create a small distraction. The deer mask then ensures that we are not spotted as the child comes over to investigate. At this point we only need to pass the security camera, and then it's over to the last opponent. This one is blocking the path entirely and could easily be knocked out. Instead of knocking out though, we only knock on walls, and then we quickly run through the gap before the rest of the children come to investigate. For this next room then, we want to keep a very close eye on the minimap in the top right corner. The 4 kids in here all turn directions in sync, and if we time it just right, we can easily sneak through behind them.
Snake, there should be another storage area nearby. Keep your eyes peeled. Be on the lookout for it.
Right, and with suspicious importance being placed on keeping our eyes open, let us now enter the children's clothing store.
Not a gun. I'm surrounded.
Snake, please respond. Snake? Snake!
Jeez, do you do that every time I get caught?
Well, yeah. How'd you manage to escape alarm?
Turns out these kids are mannequins.
Mannequins? Oh, that's right. You're in a children's clothing store. Still, you'll want to be extra careful there. That's the perfect place to set up an ambush. If only your radar wasn't jammed, you'd be able to avoid the real guards. Maybe you should try to do something about that and come back later.
And that is in fact very good advice that we want to follow, at least for the time being. Let us step back outside.
I've opened up the door to the revolting Armalot.
What for?
You might find something useful in there.
Right, so for the second time already, we are helped by the owner of this mysterious voice, who tells us that he opened a door for us, a door that we actually already passed by, but back then it was still closed. That door is located in the outer wing that we went through a few moments ago, so we now need to retrace our steps and head back there, and of course that involves avoiding all those pesky children a second time. By the way, that also would have been the case had we knocked them out earlier. You may recall that Otacon actually told us this when we picked it up. The Novocaine does not incapacitate children for too long. After a few seconds they will eventually get back up, so regardless of the method used to avoid the children here, we would have needed to use it twice. As you can see, the overall approach for Galloway Gardens here then doesn't really change much. The first two kids will still need to be distracted to pass them by. For the second one over here, that's actually made a bit more difficult by the presence of the camera. So as the kid comes over to investigate here, we want to keep a close eye on that camera's line of sight, but it looks like we've timed it just right. Kid number 3 then is easily bypassed if we just wait for a few seconds, and while we could probably distract this final opponent here with a knock on the wall, we're not going to do so. Chances are that that would attract unwanted attention, so instead we're staying safe by just waiting it out. After a few moments here, the kid will turn its back and return to the starting courtyard, at which point we make a beeline for the exit. The Galloway Gardens West Wing then once more does not really present any challenge whatsoever. We are approaching from the other side this time, so the kids' patrol is timed a little bit differently, but if we just wait for them to exchange positions once, we can safely pass through. And just like that, we've reached the outer wing, home to the revolting omelette.
Cuisine. 6 buffets. More than enough to feel anything that moves. Welcome to the revolting omelette. Exotic survival cuisine. 6 buffets. More than enough to feel any...
Right, now the first thing we notice in the top right corner of the screen is that inside of this area our radar is jammed. However, thankfully navigating around the lone child at the end of the hallway here is not too difficult, and once we manage to sneak by, we find the aforementioned something useful at the end of the room.
Ew, moldy toast.
Yeah, moldy toast. It looks like it's been sitting here for years.
A toast of Christmas past.
Looks like the mold's got a slight glow to it. Must be full of power.
Snake, you're not considering... You're not gonna eat that thing, are you?
All this sneaking around's got me awfully hungry.
Oh, this can't be safe.
Don't worry about it. A bit of strawberry jam just to mask the mold and... Not Otacon. What's happening to the jam?
Wow, it looks like the mold is breaking that jam down. It's almost completely disappeared.
Great. So now I've got a jam-eating mold. What use have I got for that?
Well, it's a stretch, but maybe it could break down radar jam too. Try taking it out in an area where the Jolaton radar reads no use.
Right, and of course only in this game could a jam-eating mold also clear a radar jam. With the moldy toast equipped, we can now see clearly, but in this room right here, that's not really needed. In fact, we better switch back to the deer mask just in case. Now at this point, you may have also noticed that the objective in the top right corner of the screen has changed. It tells us to use the toast in the storage room, and by storage room the game means the children's clothing store that we went into a few minutes ago, so we now need to take the same path for the third time. However, as we make our way through the Galloway Gardens West Wing here, we take note of a distinct lack of children, and thankfully the same will be true in the Galloway Gardens themselves.
All the kids are gone. Something must be going on. Snake, you'd better hurry.
And, well, with no kids around, we will most definitely make faster progress. The only obstacle that still remains out here is the security camera, but sticking close to the wall, we can quickly run past it, and so returning to our destination here should not be quite so tedious. The 4 rotating children in the east wing here have also thankfully vanished, although of course it remains to be seen where exactly they've went. For the time being at least, Snake remains undisturbed, and we have successfully made it to our destination. So, as we enter the store, the radar is jammed once more, but this time we have a way around that, and using the moldy toast reveals that not all of these mannequins are lifeless. Some of them are children in disguise, but with the minimap's help we can safely navigate our way through. This leads us then to the clothing store's storage room, where we find a present between some cardboard boxes.
Otacon, help!
What is it, Snake?
It's a trap. I can't see. I can't breathe. And everything smells like cardboard.
Wait, Snake, are you inside of a box? Snake, you can't go crawling into every cardboard box you see. Not all of them have handholds.
I don't need handholds. What I need are air holes.
Snake, you do realize that the holes on cardboard boxes are used to make them easier to lift, don't you?
And I suppose the air that flows through those holes is just a convenient side effect. Or have I been imagining that too? Look, there are some things you can only learn through first-hand sneaking experience.
And there are some things you could only learn by clicking through random articles on Sneakypedia.
Sneakypedia?
Well, are you familiar with the idea of Sakoku?
I'm not watching another one of those again.
No, Snake. This has nothing to do with my Japanese animes. Sakoku, or locked country, refers to Japan's old foreign relations policy. Under Sakoku, no Japanese were allowed to leave the country. At the same time, no foreigners were allowed into the country. Remarkably, it marked one of the longest periods of peace in Japanese history.
Oh, brother. I can see he's been reading the sneaky page on Japan again.
By sealing yourself in a cardboard box without air holes, you'll be isolating yourself from the outside. That includes all of the good, but also all of the bad.
Huh. I'll still be able to use the box as a stealth device though, right?
That's right. As long as you're standing still, you'll be disguised to look just like an ordinary cardboard box. Be careful, though. Don't let any enemies get too close, or your disguise will be ineffective.
Stay out of the enemy's path. Got it.
Be careful not to forget to unequip the box when it's not in use.
Why?
To breathe.
Oh, right.
Uh-oh. It looks like you've got company. Watch out, Snake. That's the Tengu Advanced Defense Patrol Operations Lightning Espionage Unit.
That's a mouthful.
Most people just call them the Tadpoles. The Tadpoles are a highly specialized PNC group, notorious for their lightning-quick reflexes and unparalleled dexterity.
Funny, they look just like little girls to me.
Well, they are little girls. Ballerinas, to be precise. Ever been to a children's ballet recital, Snake?
Not that I can remember.
Believe me, these kids would give you an unforgettable performance of the Nutcracker, so you'd better not let them get too close. The Tadpoles wear special Tadpro stealth suits, made from a synthetic semi-liquid material called Tad polyester.
That must be what gives them their slimy appearance.
The Tad polyester acts as a lubricating agent, eliminating almost all friction between the joints. This allows for total fluidity in motion. The lubrication also prevents anyone from getting a firm grip on its surface.
So no CQC?
Afraid not.
What about distractions?
Like a ballet dance, every tadpole's position is choreographed by a central controlling entity called the level designer. These instructions are then communicated to each individual tadpole via nanomachines. Because of the complexity and intricacy of these instructions, to miss a mark could spell disaster for the rest of the team. That's why tadpoles are injected with a blocker enzyme that prevents them from straying from the level designer's plan. So distractions are out of the question. I'd say your best bet is to sneak out of there using your cardboard box. Try to anticipate the tadpoles' movements and avoid being caught in their path. With a little luck, you should be able to find a hole in their patrol path and sneak your way out. Good luck.
He's around here. I know it.
So, we have acquired the infamous cardboard box, which allows us to stay hidden from enemies as long as we don't move within their line of sight. And if we stay exactly where we currently are, we will also avoid the tadpole's patrol route, which, as we've just learned, we cannot distract them from, so we need to wait for a gap to open naturally. We do all that while Snake's breath is slowly dwindling away. You can see the bar in the top left corner steadily deplete. Unfortunately, it seems like this cardboard box does not have air holes, so it is a big relief that this final girl now turns around and allows us to escape just before Snake suffocates. For that reason, it is also up for discussion whether deer mask or cardboard box are better to hide in. Personally, I would lead towards the cardboard box in most cases. As you just saw, even without air holes you can stay in there for quite some time, more than enough I think to bypass most encounters. At this point then, we can also finally continue to explore uncharted territory, and would you look at that, we've just found ourselves an elevator. Unfortunately, it is already occupied.
Otacon, there's a sleeping kid in here with a note taped to his back.
What's it say?
Now I have a polar gun. Ho ho ho.
Huh.
Looks like this elevator's no good either.
Now, I'll admit I'm not entirely sure how this translates to this elevator is unusable, but I suppose we are left with no other choice but to head back outside and through the next group of enemies.
Snake, looks like the box might be useful here.
And indeed it is. With the walls inaccessible, the cardboard box is the only item we can use to safely cross this area. If you time it perfectly, it might actually be possible to run through in one swift motion, but of course using the box for it is much safer.
There's an elevator to the first floor just east of here. Keep on heading down that path.
Alright, sounds like we've got ourselves a new destination. Before we can get to that elevator though, we once again have to cross a slightly more heavily guarded area. For now, the security camera at the start here is easily passed. For the metal tiles on the floor, we then utilize the deer mask to shimmy across without making noise, and that mask also comes in handy for bypassing the two patrolling children here. To our right then, we find some more metal tiles, but these ones we can safely just run across. By the time anyone comes over to investigate, we'll be long gone. Now at this point, the game tells us to take the exit to the right, but for a change, we're not going to do so. Instead, we can now attempt to sneak past two more children. Both of them we could of course distract to clear a path, but simply waiting them out works just as well. At the end of the room then, we find another useful item, a straight upgrade over one we already have.
You found the cardboard box A.
Who knew that the A stood for air hole?
That doesn't make sense at all, Snake. And anyways, you could breathe just fine in cardboard box B too.
Yeah, because the B stands for breathing hole.
Ugh, Snake, that cardboard box has air holes, so you'll be able to sneak around in it without having to take it off to breathe.
So, at this point, both the cardboard box with no air holes as well as the deer mask have become more or less obsolete, as we have now acquired a cardboard box that Snake can stay in indefinitely, and he won't get spotted no matter where he is, whether it's close to a wall or in the middle of the room. Now, the only downside of this cardboard box is that while you're inside of it, you cannot knock on walls, but at least for this next section here, that also won't be necessary. We can simply stop and go our way through this corridor of children, who would of course also pay us no mind if we were not hidden inside of a box. And don't worry about the one standing at the end of the corridor here. The minimap kind of blocks the view a bit, but that kid is thankfully sleeping. The next area then once again has 4 children in it, 3 of whom are patrolling. There is also an elevator over here, but the doors are closed and so it cannot be utilized. The same is true for the restroom door in the top left corner, and this here is the one use case where the deer mask still shines, shimmying across metal tiles to avoid making noise. At this point though, we can hop right back into our trusty old cardboard box. Just like that, we are already past child number 3, and even though that very same child briefly spots us here as we wait for an opening, once more we are long gone before anyone can investigate.
I've left you a little gift around there.
Why'd you have to leave it in such a metallically floored area?
What's wrong? I thought you might appreciate a little help. You can find something to help you get past that metal floor if you go back to the roof of Outer Savin.
What? All the way back there? Why didn't you tell me before?
I'm a little helper, not a big one.
So yes, you heard that right. In order to find something that might help us cross these metal tiles here, we now need to return all the way back to the roof of the mall. A roof that we just spent a good 50 minutes venturing away from. And no, we will not suddenly be presented with a convenient shortcut. We will need to retrace almost every single one of the steps we've taken so far, only to get back to where we started. And I think this marks a very good point to make the cuts in this first of 2 parts of Metal Gear Solid 2. You won't have to wait long for the next one though. I'll make sure to have it up for you tomorrow. In the meantime, let me once again wish you happy holidays. I hope you can all find some peace and quiet, and who knows, maybe my videos can help you with that. And well, if this one played its part, then I would be very happy if you could leave a quick thumbs up. As always, if you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course also go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or become a channel member or Patreon supporter. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.